Should be popping up here. There we are. We're
I
back
see
on.
us. We're back. We're not going to let them stop us, guys. Y'all stick with us. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's
It's so strange because the talking beforehand, it never freezes up. The second we go live, they start giving us problems. That just means we're over the target, guys. So maybe they view us as an existential threat. That would be great.
I think
I know we're going to be three scope Jimmy's like James, aren't we? Pretty soon. Beth is saying, "Yes, Miss Donna, thank you. Yay, we are back." We were talking about POTUS's 3.2 GDP, even with the feds against him, and um, that's typically our lowest quarter, so it was a great win. And I think we're going to go ahead and go on to our UN POTUS announcing yesterday that the UN, we were not going to be going forward with the UN trade treaty. We were taking our signature back, and he's asked the Senate to withdraw its ratification because we're not going to need it. So I am fine with that because, Phil, wasn't that the one where they were going to be trying to take away our semi-automatic weapons? I believe it was, wasn't it?
yes, and I'm going to pull that up, Doc. There's a tweet from President Trump. He displays his decision to withdraw from the UN Arms Treaty and ask the Senate to end its ratification process. Says his administration will never surrender American sovereignty and trample on your Second Amendment rights. And I believe that the UN had some caveat in their entire treaty that would take away semi-automatic weapons from American citizens. So
Mm-hmm.
POTUS ended that.
And you know what? Only response I have is it'll be from my cold dead hands. So if you come for my guns, honey, one of us ain't gonna make it out alive, and I promise you it ain't gonna be me. So you just come try to take my guns. POTUS, our wonderful POTUS, is not going to let that either because he's withdrawn from it, and they can kiss our grits, is the way I look at it. So I don't know about you.
I
You
agree.
Yankees might feel different about your guns, but I doubt it because us Southerners really kind of have a affinity for our guns.
I agree.
And I think we have a lot more of them than those beta people because they don't believe in them, remember?
That's right. That's right, Doc. Well, we're going to move on to our next issue.
Yes, because we've got a lot to make up for since we've been so limited on our time.
yes, and folks, maybe it's time to start looking at other platforms like YouTube, Twitch, and we're now on D Live. And I looked at all three while we were having our Periscope issue, and all three were streaming fine. So it seems to be Periscope, which is part of Twitter, which makes sense. So, yeah, we
I
seem to
guess
have.
at Jack did not get the message when he visited the White House this week. But I have a feeling pain is coming for him too. So you just try to infringe on my free speech, see where that gets you.
Well, right now with Jack running it, there's not a whole lot we can do, but hopefully,
Oh, I think they're working on it, and I think eventually, I think there's going to be such a public outcry. He's not going to have any choice but to change it. But the other thing, did you get a chance to get our slide together about coolest thing? And I didn't really hear anything about this week, so y'all might be more on the gun than I am. But um, did you find the article for our new anti-gravity aircraft that the Navy was patenting this week? Did y'all hear about that? Wasn't that the coolest thing ever?
yep, I've got the article right here, Doc, and we'll pull it up. Let's see. U.S. Navy secretly designed a super fast, futuristic aircraft resembling a UFO. Huh, interesting.
Isn't that
Resembling.
cool? And what it does, I think, basically is it deflects the gravitational pull on an object because it uses a shield. It's kind of a complex thing, but they what it does is it deflects the gravitational pull, and it allows them to operate at unbelievable speeds on land, in the air, or underwater, guys. And I don't know if you also caught this week, but the Navy has implemented a new protocol for them to be able to report UFO sightings because they've had a number of them in the water where huge areas of water has been displaced, indicating that they had some kind of apparatus that was going on underwater. I mean, they obviously had more details on it. Uh, Bill, you might be able to read a little bit more of that article. I'm sorry. It tells a little bit about the technology. But now they've got to design the technology. They've gotten the technology down, or they think they do. And now my understanding is the engineers have to go design a the actual physical ship. So they'll be putting that together, but we got the patent on it. And don't you think both of those things kind of coming out the same week? Don't you think that's a little bit telling, especially after President Trump made such a commitment to Space Force? So I'm wondering if all of this has something to do, because he has said before that there is a lot to Area 51 and some of the technologies that they've ascertained. I think they've actually gotten a lot of sightings and information and materials that have been left behind, far more than we ever knew. And they've taken all this technology somehow and come up with this. So I'll let you read that. I'm sorry, I just get so excited. I got my husband this sweatshirt that says Space Force Commander, so I'll get to be the first lady of Space Force. Just saying.
The first lady of Space Force.
I mean, you got to start somewhere. I don't want to be Flotus because that's Melania's job. But I would be first lady of Space Force as long as I got to do it from my bed in Texas. No, it's not a problem. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll figure it out later.
Oh, let's see. Oh, the chat's not working, of course, but so I don't see any new comments. Sorry, guys. We love Periscope. We gotta start looking at other platforms. DLive.
Can you read that article about the technology though? Because I think that was really exciting.
Oh, I did. Oh, did I? Maybe I didn't.
No, I think there was a little bit more in that first paragraph that I thought was kind of important.
Let me get my glasses. I can read the rest of the article. The U.S. Navy has been granted a patent for an advanced aircraft which resembles a flying saucer, or UFO. Military inventors filed plans for a highly unusual flying machine which uses an inertia mass reduction device to travel at extreme speeds. What that means is that the aircraft uses complex technology to reduce its mass and thereby lessen inertia, an object's resistance to motion, so it can zoom along at high velocities. So the patent is a highly complex and describes methods for reducing the mass of an aircraft. A little bit of Area 51 stuff there, Doc, I think.
I think it's kind of titillating, don't you believe? I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. This is just what they're telling us. And just think about it. If what they've said is true, and we're really 20 years ahead in technology than what they admit, can you imagine where that might put us? I mean, you have to think about the advantages that would give us, not only in technology against our enemies, but the things that they could use that for would just be exponential. And it might mean that I might not get road rage in the future in traffic because I might can just hop on my little supersonic thing and jet there, and I wouldn't have to whip up on those people that loiter in the left lane like I was telling James. I'm sorry, I can get road rage even in Walmart. So I think that new aircraft just sounds greatly exciting, and like it might be made tailor made for Denise Martin when I'm driving. So I just think that it's really interesting that all of this, what we do each week as we go over these things is we kind of bring all the threads together, because you'll see a little article here, you'll see another little article here, and it again, like James is always talking about, connecting the data points. That gives you your trends, that gives you a bigger picture of really what's kind of going on behind the scenes. So it's exciting. And another thing, just hurrying right along, is I know that we are late on time tonight, but I believe that Ben Carson had a huge announcement this week. Do we have that article?
Yep. Here it comes. Ben Carson. Glasses again. That's awfully small.
I'm sorry. Getting old is not for sissies, honey.
Who's getting old here? I'm only going up in levels.
Certainly not me. It might be you, but it isn't me. I'm sorry.
I'm only going up in levels. I'm not getting old.
That's right. That's right. We're like fine wines. Sounds so much more badass, doesn't it?
This is a tweet from Bill Plute. I think it's Pulte. Sorry, I butchered your name. Dr. Ben Carson, private businesses commit $25 billion investment into inner city. So that's not, what I like about that is that's not government investing $25 billion. That is private business that he got to invest $25 billion. So that's nice. That's about, the way it should work, right?
That ties back, if you remember last week when we talked about the opportunity zones, that ties back to that, because it's about bringing the private sector into doing things that the Dems wants government to do. And remember, government's primary job is to keep us safe. So the more that we can get private business involved, the less, that Big Brother is looking over our shoulder. And that goes right along with one of our rapid fire points that we're going to be making later, with all of the employer commitments for vocational training for Americans. So we'll be going over that in just a minute, but it kind of ties those together. So this is a huge investment for businesses to commit. And again, it just takes a little bit more of the edge off what the Dems want. Remember, they're the party of high taxes. They're the party of death, not only abortions all the way up to the moment of delivery, but if the baby lives through the abortion attempt, then they are wanting to give the rights to mothers and doctors to kill, murder that live human being. And again, our POTUS is standing for life tonight, because he highlighted that, how important it is that our babies are depending on us. The next generation, where are we going to be when Muslims and all that are having 5 babies to our 1, and then they're encouraging them to kill more of them? So we're not doing it. People are coming back to the side of life. They realize that God ordains life the moment of conception. We need to foster I'm sorry, I'm losing my words. I get so excited. But we need to foster a society that believes in life, in sheltering life. And our great leader again this week is taking us there. So I'm right there with him.
Yes, he's you know what? He is hard to keep up with, isn't he? It's amazing.
I'm saying, because remember, he trolled on Sleepy Joe again yesterday, saying that he feels young and vibrant, and that Sleepy Joe may not be able to keep up. I absolutely lost
Paying
it.
attention all day tires me out. Paying attention all day tires me out.
Oh, that was good. That was good. I'm just telling you, he's going to have the same problem that Herthanis had in 2016, not be able to keep up with our badass POTUS. And I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but President Trump used a few sentence enhancers, is what I called him in his speech tonight. He's kind of been peppering it more and more, where he'll say, bullshit, or excuse me, the ass, or bahookie. But I just think that again shows where he is going on the offense. Don't you feel?
Yes, he said it's my turn, so now he's
And he
going
was
to
like,
go.
see, whenever I said that those sentence enhancers.
You thought he was going quickly before. He's really going to ramp it up now and try to get as much done as possible before, 2020 rolls around. Of course, he doesn't sleep but 4 hours a day, so um, you know what he
Sorry, I
does?
have to have seven, or
Paying
eight because they
attention
say
all day
seven.
tires me out.
Paying attention all day
They say get
tires me
7
out.
hours of sleep and eight if you're ugly. So I might have to. I always err on that side of trying to get a little bit more because it takes us old girls a little bit more to get beautiful than it does the rest of the people. So, but I don't think there's going to be anybody that can keep up with Photos because he just blows everybody's doors off. I feel like my hair's been plastered back half the time, and I get up humming and I go to bed humming like this. So this is kind of me 24 hours a day, if you can believe that. I can't even imagine Photos. I mean, that would be like steroids. So just another reason why I like him. And he also had great news on the opioid crisis this week. Did you catch that?
Yes, I got the tweet here, Doc.
You'll see your magic.
President real Donald Trump and Flotus traveled to Atlanta, Georgia yesterday for the RX Drug Abuse and Heroin Summit, continuing their fight against America's opioid crisis. So that's the Flotus. She's been involved in that, along with the anti-bullying on the internet. So she's a pretty active POTUS, and she loves America and is not ashamed of America, right? Or is she proud for the first time to be an American?
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah, I think she's been proud to be an American for a long time. She worked hard to become one, unlike other people. And, um, our megalomaniac president, as the left likes to try to paint him, is so sweet and so generous with his praise of her. And when she comes out and you see the way he looks at her and he comes up and he takes her hands and he kisses her and he always is so gentle with her and makes sure that she really knows that he's saying thank you. And I just think that's so sweet. I think that they really do have a very deep and abiding love, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So I'm just thrilled. After 1 year, 17% difference in opioid abuse. That's huge. Think of how many lives that represents when you're talking about the population of the United States. It's huge. So you know, we're winning again, and our future generations can thank us for that because they'll have their moms and dads around. So just very, very exciting. And we do have to be sure and um, honor our wonderful Flotus because she leveled up. But luckily, she's so gorgeous you'd never know it. But she's a badass level 49 yesterday. So
Ooh.
happy belated birthday, Flotus. We love you. We so appreciate the sacrifices that your family has made for us because it's for us that y'all are doing this. He certainly didn't need it. And
I,
I don't think that she would have taken up the battle quite so willingly if it hadn't been for him thinking that he was the only one that could really help save America. And I'm just glad that she's so unselfish.
I just put her picture up on the screen. Hi, Flotus. Happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday in the chat. And I'm trying to read the chat. It's really small, but I'm reading it.
Well, I promise you, I'm not going to sing to her. So I'm not going to give up my day job. But she is gorgeous. She's classy. She is lovely and very unselfish to let him do this with the sacrifices that it causes her family. Because you know that, poor Baron doesn't get as much time with his daddy as the other kids did, I'm sure, even though I know he works everybody in, but, he's only one man. So though I think that oftentimes we put him in the superhero category, he still has the same time constraints that the rest of us humans deal with. So I just it makes you treasure them all the more and recognize their sacrifice.
If
So
anybody
thank you.
notices, Doc, that I'm leaning, I'm trying to heat my hands up. It's 30 degrees in this studio right now
Oh,
because I
thank
didn't
you
get
for
the heat
Yankee.
installed yet. So I have a little heater and I'm trying to heat my hands up. They're frozen. So it's cold.
Oh, the sacrifices you make to bring mega to people every week. I'm just saying, we're so thankful for you. I sweated today. I hated to tell you that, and I really don't like to sweat. But if you went out and worked in your garden at all, the sun was really, really hot. So this summer, when I'm frying, you're going to be loitering around in 70-degree weather, and um, so the tables will be turned. But I hate to see. I had a beautiful day.
It's
So we'll just send you lots of good wishes to keep you warm.
well, I got this little heater down here, so I have to keep warming up my hands because my fingers are frozen, but my feet are sweating.
Well, one of
So
the secrets to give up those Yankee ways and come down to the South where it stays warm all the time, or
it's
mostly.
too warm there.
Yes, that's the issue. And I don't like to sweat, so that does present a problem. But they won't let me live anywhere else with my accent. They tell me they can't understand me, want to send me home. Can't imagine that. Can you?
No.
I didn't even realize I had an accent until I moved away from my hometown. I hated to tell you that, but it was only because I had a job interview with a Yankee woman in a big city that I realized that I had an accent. Kind of hate to bring that up, but anyway, glad y'all love me anyway. Got dance with the one that brought you.
Well, now we got, you know what? We're back to draining the swamp here. So, POTUS at the NRA speech. I just put the tweet or an article up, a piece of an article at least. We caught them. Trump says Dems tried for a coup in a fiery NRA speech. So that was at the NRA. I think that was on April 25th. It says up here. So he came right out and said it. He said what I believe James R. has been saying for, what, 2 years now? Our friend Chris Mack, everybody, we all knew. Dan Bongino, they all called it a coup, right? Yes, Monica, I am in New York, and it's 30 degrees here tonight. So in our new hideaway studio. So I could
yes,
see.
and you know what? Again, people don't really assign enough importance to the language. But remember, there is no word, no language used that he has not carefully thought out and prepared. Because as we all know, Donald Trump is a master blaster, planner, strategist. He's a very patient man, and he's a master blaster troller. All the things that I love most about him. But he is using he's bringing everybody along slowly, the normies, because remember, we can't leave them behind. They've got to find out exactly how devastating a coup was planned, and that they not only planned to remove him from office, they tried to kill him and his family. And I think that more and more that's going to be coming out. So the emails that came out this week to Judicial Watch, woe unto them. Their somebody, I think it was Scott the Ryle, my little buddy on Twitter. I think he said it best. He said their pecker power should be so intense that they're producing diamonds. I thought that was very funny.
Oh, what do we got next here,
But
Doc?
he is using that language more and more, and
Yes.
it's to prepare the normies, to bring them along with us. And remember, guys, when you are out and about, start talking to your family and friends, even if you've talked to them before and it's not borne fruit. Don't give up. We draw more with honey than we do vinegar, and you've got all the ammunition you need if you go out armed with facts. Because remember, we deal with facts, not feelings. They deal with feelings, not facts. So we've got to gently just keep putting it out there and breaking down that wall of resistance in family members and people that are blinded by the mainstream media. I just think that we can't give up. We've got to be persistent because you know what? when my sister and I first started our company, they nicknamed my sister my sister and I, Persistence and Consistence. And I promise you, I am not a consistent person, but I'm a very persistent person. So I don't ever give up. And I think POTUS is kind of like that too. If I can't win you over, I'm going to wear you down. But we're going to wear them down with facts. So keep yourself armed, keep yourself excited. We keep getting more and more encouragement from our POTUS. So it's going to make it easy because we're going to roll in like a steamroller in 2020, don't you think?
I agree with you, Doc. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat at the same time here because I can't see it
I'm
on
sorry,
anything
see,
else.
if
So.
anybody's chatting to me, I keep getting excited and forgetting to look, so I apologize. But all of that's on purpose, guys. They're not just using this language casually. This is the red pilling of our country, of the normies. So we've got to keep up. We've got to keep abreast. We've got to keep trying to bring the fight to them in a nice way. So, and remember, enthusiasm and a joy and a zest for life takes you a long ways. So I hope that we play a small part in keeping you excited. Poor Phil, I'm sorry, I just don't ever get a chance to even get a word in Israel's.
Well, you know what he has said. He has said the word treason. He has said the word treason quite a few times in the last.
And sedition.
Right. He's brought that up quite a few times. So obviously he knows everything that happened.
If he was talking like that about me, I would be scared. I would be getting very, very nervous. So, and of course, everybody knew about the big bomb this week with Joe DeGeneva, and coming out and telling who was it, Okomi, that he was going to need not one lawyer but 5. Honey, I think 5 might be an underestimation. So I think that there's probably a severe shortage of good legal counsel available in Washington D.C. area. Because remember, there's got to be a wall of separation, and they can't take on a conflict of interest if they're talking to one person. So they go around and get all the good lawyer or good legal representation taken at first. So I think it's going to be funny to watch the mad dash to see who ends up with who and who doesn't. And they can squeal all they want to, but honey, I think they're going to the pig factory. It's going to be great. I've got my popcorn on. How about y'all?
It's pretty amazing. I don't know why Periscope messes with us so much, but
it's looking like it's still going okay for me, guys. Can y'all give us a shout out on the chat? Is everything coming okay? If not, I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about it, but we will like to be sympathetic to you anyway.
I got a friend who says something about.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, get in there, talk about www.w.com, you got then that naked chicks on there, man. You go click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Yeah, it's real easy, man.
Yeah. That naked chick. Honey, I'm sorry, I don't know where we get a naked chick, but I think we're short on those. But you know what? Not to forget in our rapid fire, because I know that we're approaching our last kind of 10, 15 minutes of the programming. And I wanted to make sure and remind you guys, POTUS said tonight, 6 million jobs. That's humongous. There should be nobody in America that is not affected by that. So guys, remember, we've been asking you, and POTUS highlighted again tonight, how important it is. The reason that Bill and I are putting ourselves out there every week, if we affect the mind, the choice of one person, then we've done our part. If everybody can bring one person to the table, register one voter, bring one voter, to the table to listen to what POTUS is offering, to get out and debate somebody that might be on the edge. If you can do that, everybody can do their part, because it's our kids' future that's at stake. You can see how radical these Dems are. And if they're that radical now, can you imagine what they're going to be in the future if we don't squelch this now? That means we've got to take the fight to them, guys. We've got to get out there. We've got to bring our A game. You cannot bark like a puppy if you're going to run with the big dogs. And Chris Mack did point out on that about that show. My husband and I kind of rewatched it, or my husband was watching it, and I kind of dipped in and out of the U.S. soccer win against the Russians. Remember that? Y'all, I'm telling you, that reminds you that we are a come from behind country, and we are going to bring the fight. And I don't care if it's the very last second, we're going to bring the win, because we're not going to give up.
That's right. Oh, we have Boogie Bumper in house, Shasha. Beth Duffy. I'm just going to mention a few people in the chat there. Thank you for sticking around through our Periscope issues.
So thankful.
Hopefully we can get people over to other platforms like YouTube and DLive, where we are not seen. We do not seem to have these issues like Periscope, but the president is. Oh no, you were just talking about Chris Mack, and I saw that or listened to Pirate Radio from last night this morning while I was working, and we've been saying that for a few weeks now. Get one person, at least one person, registered to vote, and shout out to James R. for bringing that up last night on Pirate Radio. It just takes one person. So.
Like I just said, if we all bring one, there's 120 million people, and probably more. So it's going to be a tsunami. But yes, I do want to give a shout out to all of our faithful people that come and see us. Donna, Orange Johns, Boogie Bumper. We're so thankful that you came, and we appreciated you for this a little mini commercial to you. So thank you for your shout out to Phil D'Angelo, or however you said it. I never can say it like you. I don't have your form. But and the sweet compliment you gave me for being a sultry Southerner. I like the way you say that. So you just keep on, honey. You have my full permission anytime. But we're thankful for everybody that comes to see us each week. And y'all be sure and spread the word. Because if you bring one person to our show, maybe they'll get encouraged and go out and bring another person. And maybe we can really have an impact. Because that's why it's not that I have any special expertise, or I don't think Phil believes he has any special expertise, other than being God-fearing, tax-paying entrepreneurs, American entrepreneurs. We're going to keep bringing the fight. We're going to keep fighting for our kids. And hopefully y'all stick with us each week and keep growing the message, and we can encourage each other and have fun and enjoy the joy of the ride, and not just, work and get to the destination.
Hey,
I'm not
Doc,
going to let them rob me.
We got that little promo there.
Someone in the chat asking about Doc's show. That's not rude to ask. That's not rude to ask. Ask away. When is it? 10 p.m. Saturday. Doc and Phil D'Angelo. Phil D'Angelo. And the sultry southern tones of the Southern Belle, Doc Martin. 10 p.m. Saturday. There you go. That's not rude.
Oh, I love the way he described us, or me in particular. Thank you, Boogie Bumper.
Oh, D'Angelo.
Yourself.
I had a teacher that used to say my name like that.
Appreciating your compliment. My husband, when he heard Boogie Bumper, instead of appreciating the compliment he gave his wife, he was going, "Yo, Phil, man, Phil." I was going, "Hey, am I chopped liver or what?"
Boogie says I've been soundbited.
Very cool. Yes, he's famous, or infamous, I might say. I'm not sure which.
Dispose of the witnesses.
What is that?
Dispose of the witnesses.
Dispose of the witnesses.
Yes, really. I think we've got too many. And I think it's on tape. Hey, guys, don't forget also, too, that yesterday we got word in Florida that because of the influence of our wonderful POTUS in helping get Ron DeSantis elected in Florida, they passed a bill in the Senate yesterday banning sanctuary cities in Florida. So that's going to be another huge win, and that's going to help us in our race in 2020. Because remember, we've got a huge fight. Florida is very important, and they're trying to turn Florida and Texas blue. And by golly, if it's the last thing I do, honey, I'm going to work very hard, because Texas over my dead body will ever turn blue. So, or at least I'm going to go down fighting. So y'all just got to keep on keeping on. And I did want to also just point out one last thing, and then I'm sorry, I'll let you talk. But the best thing about the 2020 election coming up, guys, I realized yesterday, I'm a little slow in the draw. Some years the election falls on my birthday, and sometimes it doesn't. 2020 is going to fall on my birthday. Would that not be the most awesome birthday gift ever, to get POTUS reelected for his next 4 years on my birthday? Just can't think of anything better than get to hug him till his eyeballs pop out of his head.
I wonder what you think of that screenshot I got of you, Doc.
Excuse me, Bill? Do I need to reach through this technology and hurt you?
You're going to reach right through that internet and get me through the Wi-Fi.
He's blackmailing me. I'm going to pull a Wayne LaPierre from NRA. He's blackmailing me. Remember, he said it today that Oliver North was trying to blackmail him with a good pension, promising him a good pension if he'd resign. So we gotta check into that a little bit more about what's going on with the NRA. But y'all, the NRA's got. I mean, it's absolutely essential that we keep it in good financial order and working order. So I don't know if y'all know anything about that situation yet, but I'm going to be doing a lot more investigating into that this next week. But anyway.
Well, Doc, I got a couple I'm going to run through here quickly. One is POTUS. The U.S. not POTUS, but the U.S. revoked the visa of an International Criminal Court (ICC) prosecutor Friday as part of the Trump administration's effort to rebuke the tribunal's investigation into alleged war crimes committed by U.S. forces in Afghanistan, according to a statement from the prosecutor's office. So, this criminal court, international criminal court, one of the prosecutors was in the U.S., and it looks like the Trump administration has revoked their visa. It is sending them out of here. You hear
the head prosecutor.
Yes, and you hear all these stories about Navy SEALs being put in prison with pedophiles and all kinds of sick individuals who were in the war in Afghanistan, did nothing wrong, and there is one Navy SEAL that's been moved by Trump out of that situation, fortunately, but is being treated horribly. He's a highly decorated Navy SEAL, but I wonder if that issue with that Navy SEAL stems from this international criminal court that Obama let run roughshod over our military. That seemed to happen a lot under the Obama administration. A lot of Navy SEALs and Green Berets being arrested and thrown in prison. So hopefully this is a start of trying to clean up that mess. We have people that should have gone to prison, like Bo Bergdahl. Chelsea Manning was commuted. His sentence was commuted. But we have other people sitting in prison that can't get out, that did nothing wrong. That's unfortunate. And you remember the in Mexico when I believe it was Tamarisi was his name, went over the Mexican border with weapons. He sat in a nasty prison in a nasty situation for months, and the Obama administration did nothing about it. So maybe this is a turn of events for our veterans. I'm sorry,
knowing
Doc,
that man was over there suffering, that Tamarisi was suffering in a Mexican prison without his medications, suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, from fighting for our freedom, and Obama left him there. if it hadn't been for the good people that got involved and got him out of there, he'd still be sitting there today. So, Obama did nothing for anybody or our country, but POTUS isn't afraid to stand up. And he did get that little guy greater freedoms. But y'all, we're not done there. And I'd have to pull back up the article, which I'll try to do for you next week. But we've got to really pray into that situation, because the head of the military that is making decisions about that young man is still trying to get him put back into prison, back into that same situation. He's not wanting to let him have access to his lawyers, his legal team, see his wife or anything. This is a very highly decorated man. So, I'm just telling you, you want to get my ire up, but POTUS is looking at it. So he's not going to let them take their retribution back out on this man. So, but we really need to pray into that situation, because the head military guy, I can't remember his position. I read so much, I forget all the little fine details. But the important guy making the decisions in the military is not for our little veteran. He is trying to hurt POTUS through hurting this man. We don't need stuff like that. So we've got to really pray into that situation, keep an eye on it. So everybody kind of keep a gander on that, as we say. I don't know what, Doc, term, but
that whole story about Tamarisi and our veterans and the issues they're facing with the International Court is a good lead into this story. Yeah, I'm trying to look at the comments, that Beth. I can see some of them.
In the acres of graves at the Florida National Cemetery in Bushnell are many whose families still say their names.
I've heard it said that a veteran dies twice, once on the battlefield, and the second time when people stop saying their name. And if there's anything that we can do to prevent the latter, then so be it.
On this day, they'll ride with the hearse, and they will say his name, since no one else is with him.
Escorting this veteran with no family to his final resting place. It's the last thing we can do to help that veteran.
David Allen rallied his fellow members of the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association after discovering that the bodies of a dozen or more veterans every year are unclaimed in our area alone.
It transcends service limits, it transcends age, and it's our duty.
Though they never knew him, they honor him for serving as a Marine in the 1950s, and they proudly say his name.
Robert Krause.
Groups across the nation are discovering that too many veterans are going to their graves with no family.
Once every quarter here at the Florida National Cemetery, they hold services for all the indigent and unclaimed veterans. Sometimes there are dozens of them, all alone, all unclaimed.
Now, this group hopes to escort all unclaimed vets from Tampa and say their names, as they did on this day for Robert Krause.
It's not just taps for Mr. Krause. It's taps for all of our fallen. It's embedded in us.
To see that no veteran goes to their grave alone. Lloyd Towers, Fox 13 News.
That's a nice thing that they do. I believe it's the biker group in Tampa, Florida.
They'll never go to their resting place alone. And that's what we owe them, everything, because they've been willing to put their lives down. If they don't have family left to be there for them, at least we'll go there. That reminds me of that story we ran earlier in our show series. They had that little unclaimed vet here in Texas, and I am so proud to say there was a line miles and miles long of people that from the community that came so that little veteran would not go to his resting place by himself. That's what America is, guys. That's what we're fighting for. So put your big girl panties on. If you don't have any, go commando, put your stilettos on, and get ready for the fight, because the pain's coming. It's here. So I'm just excited and very touched.
Well, not many people know, at least on Twitter and Periscope, but I take care of a cemetery, abandoned cemetery. I have for, I think I'm on 7 years now. It was completely overgrown. And there's 2 Revolutionary War veterans, 3 Civil War veterans, some 1812 veterans in that cemetery, and there's only 174 markers that I have located. A lot of them were knocked over and buried. So I spent 5 years, and now we have grass growing in there, but we put flags up for the veterans on holidays, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. Someone goes on Christmas and puts Christmas wreaths out. So, little things like that, there's nobody knew that all these veterans were in that cemetery, so that's why
Which is another reason why we love you.
Every little thing you can
put
do.
Your money where your mouth is. Now, guys, out in the audience, y'all take a minute to take that in. This man taught OBS to himself, so he learned this so he could do the show. He's putting his money where his mouth is. So in closing, because I know that I just see that Ladies of Liberty is about to come on, so we better boogie, so to speak. But thank you, Phil, because you know what? You just make me love you more each week and more proud to get to sit here next to you each week bringing the good news of the MAGA winning. And remember, guys, we wave our MAGA flag now, but it's fixing to be tag. Woohoo!
Well, if you want to check it out, folks, it's on Facebook. It's Friends of Budlong Cemetery, and you can see all the progress from the beginning to today. So we had a couple years ago, we had the American Legion from New Hartford come out and do a ceremony. And I got to tell the story. I know Ladies of Liberty is probably trying to get on the air, but I have to tell the story. We had the American Legion there, and they're all older folks in the color guard. And I see a woman standing over by a headstone that we had located a week before. And it's a big, giant headstone. On 4 sides, there's children on it, family members. We had a cholera epidemic come through here, and there's probably 100 children buried in that cemetery. So the town came in and helped us get the headstone back onto its block. And this woman was standing there crying. She was probably in her 70s. She's from the color guard for this ceremony we had to rededicate the cemetery. And I walked over and I said, is everything okay? Is something wrong? This was her family. The headstone we had just put back up. She had been looking for this plot for decades. Isn't it?
Wow.
The irony of it all. She finally found her plot. So.
Well, I'm just saying, that just is going to make me cry again.
That
is so sweet.
Yeah. I'll have to put some pictures up on the show one day. It was a lot of fun.
We need to. I think you need to take some pictures out there with your MAGA hat on where we can applaud you and live vicariously through you. But you know what? Ladies of Liberty has started, so I think we probably ought to bring it to a close. But thank you for doing that, Phil. That means the world to a lot of families I know, and it means something to me. Thank you.
Oh, I like doing it, so among all the 1,000 of other things I do.
Any opportunity for anything we can do for them, we need to do it.
Hey guys,
so many things that we can do, it costs us nothing. So thanks.
I know we're running over. Ladies of Liberty is on. Try to check out DLive and get signed up over there. Especially with all our Periscope issues. We're on YouTube and we're on Twitch. But DLive, I've been watching Pete Santilli over there. Seems to work really well. Get one person registered. And make sure you get over to the other shows, Boogie Bumper, Trust and Verify, Chris Mack. Don't forget about Mac Daddy. So, good night, everybody, and I'll turn it over to Doc to say good night.
Bye, y'all. Thank you for coming, guys. We're so appreciative. And yay is all I can say. Good things are coming our way, so stick with us. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Great. Good night, everybody.
Good night.